today as we do this fun little painting called Stay Wild, Moonchild. Hi, welcome to another episode of The Rock and Roll Painter. Today we got a fun little project called Stay Wild, Moonchild. So first we got just a regular canvas here. I want to show you some of the pre-work I do to create the moon, and then we're going to switch some stuff out and get the real canvas we're going to work on. So I just, with regular contact paper, shelf liner, and a saucer at home, I just drew around, cut out, and create a moon shape. On the canvas, I just kind of set it up here, kind of loosely draw where that moon's going to be, and now with some white and some blue gesso, white and blue gesso, which is a acrylic-based primer. I'm going to create some of the stuff you see on the moon. You remember from previous shows, this stuff is called Maria. The old sailors thought there was a moon seas up here, so this is called the Moon Maria. So I'm just going to create some of that man on the moon look. And you see this gesso dries pretty quick. Now I got a little lighter value. I'm gonna come in with a little darker value now, just to create a couple different layers of the Maria, the man on the moon. And you'll see once we cover this up and paint over it, it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be magical what that does. I'm gonna clean my brush up, and with just a little bit of the white gesso. This side I wanted a little brighter, and see those lines will kind of show me where the outline is with just some white gesso. Just want to kind of create a little brighter edge, kind of establish that edge, and then just kind of work that all in. Like I say, when we cover this up, paint around it and pull that cover up, you're going to really be surprised what you see as far as the moon. Okay, like I say, that's all we do, and then you let that dry. Take a hair dryer or whatever, let it dry, and then you take and peel off your contact paper and stick on here. Now we're going to move to a canvas that's already dry and ready to go. Let me take this canvas out, and we'll come up with this canvas. You might notice a little different. It's a black canvas. So after we did the moon, that you see, did the gesso, the blue moon gesso, got it, let it dry, covered it with some black gesso. And gesso is just an acrylic-based primer. Anytime you buy a canvas at the store, it says 3 layers, triple primed of white gesso. This is just a black gesso, it's an acrylic primer. And then I put a thin coat of a clear base medium, which will allow the paint to move around on the canvas. And with that, let's get started. Like I say, this painting is called Stay Wild, Moonchild. And as it develops, you might get a feel for why we got that name. Let's get this acrylic paint out of my way. We're just gonna start with some blue, some phthalo blue, just a little bit of titanium white, some phthalo blue. I'm going to create a nice loose, look at that blue just glowing up there. A nice loose kind of sky around the moon, a night sky. We won't be flipping any stars on here like we've done in the past. We won't make a mess in the studio. But we want a nice loose sky kind of, and all these pockets of that dark canvas, let that show through there. Let that show through, get some more depth to the sky. So this is a nice sky, kind of a nice nighttime kind of sky. Get some nice loose color on there. Like I say, those dark values, you'll let those dark values show through there. Get some paint all the way up through here. And nice and loosely, take out some of those brush strokes. Now we're gonna create some series of clouds. We're gonna take a half round brush with a little bit of some titanium white. I'm going to create a nice loose kind of cloud kind of shape down here. You want to be careful you don't have it repetitive, look like a fence or anything. Wipe that excess paint off because it's picking up some of that blue. Get a little bit more of the white, Create some clouds up here above the moon. Create some nice loose shape. Nice loose shape up here. Now we're going to take that brush that has our blue in it. Well, we'll just take a clean brush. Take a clean brush. We're just going to soften those clouds. It's picking up that blue, and that's going to create some far off clouds. We're going to put another layer or two in front of them. And once again, that'll help create some some distance in the sky. So we're picking up some of that blue. I say we're going to create another couple layers into the sky. Have a nice wild night going on. Set those clouds up into the sky. And we're going to go back to our half round. I'm making a conscious effort to slow down this show. I go too fast, been giving that feedback a lot. I'm going to try to slow down, have fun with this. Part of the meaning of Stay Wild Moonshine, when I look it up, it's just people who live in a moment, you know, and I like people who dance to the beat of their own drum or in tune with their own rhythm. So this painting is about living in the moment, enjoying the moment, and you'll see when it's all done. All right, but we'll get some more of that white. Get some more of that white. Really tap in. And we'll create another layer of clouds in front of that cloud. Be careful not to be repetitive, have the same shape going on in this layer of clouds. Have a layer of clouds coming down here, have that one come in front of that one. And while we still have some of this white, we'll create another layer up here too. This moon's way off in the distance, so we'll create a couple layers of clouds to try to get that feel of distance in the night sky. I'll take him right on off there. Maybe put some far off clouds in here. Maybe some clouds in there. Just several layers of clouds. We'll go back to that brush we were blending with. Once again, we're just going to softly kind of tickle those clouds just to set them into the sky. Tickle those clouds. That's not something you do every day. I've heard a horse whisperer, so I'm a cloud tickler, whatever that means. So we'll just set those clouds into the night sky. You can see the different layers, how deep that sky is looking. That's the effect we're trying to create here. Set those clouds into the sky. Just kind of soften them down so you don't see any of the loose brush strokes. Now we're going to do another layer of clouds, but this time we're going to go a little darker. We're going to go a little darker. So I'm going to mix in some black, some blue, some black and some blue. The same brush, we're going to create some darker clouds. Like some dark night clouds away from that moon. But once again, it'll give another layer of clouds, which helps create that depth, which is what we're trying to do. I mean, look through there, you see all those different layers of clouds. Really nice effect for creating some depth in this night sky. Get some color all over that canvas, tap that in, get some more of this darker color. All the way down the corner, we got some dark clouds. Fill that all in. Up at the top, we need some dark clouds, some black, some blue. Get some of that dark color. Set a dark cloud up there. Have another dark cloud kind of peeking in there. And maybe a dark cloud trying to peek in there, get some more of that dark color, some blue and some black. Create some of that dark color. Now we're going to blend those colors. Or just kind of soften it down, Soften that leading edge, just kind of sets it, kind of creates a soft edge to those dark clouds. And you see a dark cloud, a cloud, a cloud, a cloud. We're really creating some depth. If that's too harsh an edge, we can just kind of go over, just kind of break that cloud up. Kind of go over. So it's just giving the illusion of some depth, some clouds. We're going to set that cloud into the sky. Kind of hard to see that one with that light shining right down on top of him. Get a nice cloud going there. So what we're trying to do at this point is capture a nice, deep, dark, nighttime sky. And you see all those different layers of clouds. I really like the way that's looking. Now I want a little bit of a glow around that moon. So I'm gonna get a little bit of white. Before we take that contact paper off, I'm gonna get a little bit of a halo around that moon, a little bit of light, so it'll really be bright. won't be bright like an eclipse, but it'll give a little light around there. It's amazing, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it's 400 times away from the Earth. So the circumference of the two can line up and create that eclipse. That's pretty amazing how those, something 400 times as big as the other, we see them almost the same size in the night sky. All right, now I'm just going to softly blend out that little halo so you don't see the lines. Now, remember that moon we created when we started the show. Let's see what we got now. Let's see what we got. We got a lot more to do this painting. We're going to get this, I'm going to establish this moon. Now, remember what we did with those gessos to establish that moon? Just really looking like a moon. Stay wild, moon child. Okay, we want to get a little bit of a clear medium and just a touch. Let's set this over here by my blue. Just a touch of the blue. Want to get a little bit of a light blue glaze. A light blue, want a very thin light blue glaze. Almost a blue moon kind of feel. Get some more of that glaze. That might be getting just a little too blue, so we'll just take a little bit of that blue, soften him down a little bit. But now, like I said, I want that moon to really kind of glow, so I'm gonna take a clean brush, a little bit of white, a little bit of my glazing medium, a little bit of white, a little bit of my glazing. I'm getting that glazing medium, there it is. A little bit of white, a little bit of glazing. I want the outside edge to kind of pop, really to pop. This gives me a chance to clean up if I messed up a little bit, if any of the paint got underneath my contact paper. Gives me a chance to kind of clean that up a little bit at this point. But with it being a blue moon, once in a blue moon, the sky being blue, it doesn't hurt a thing. Last time we had a blood moon, and that red getting into, or the yellow getting into the blue sky kind of created a green moon. We didn't want that. So anyway, we'll get this nice bright white edge going around here. Get a nice bright edge. That moon is really glowing. Got to loosen up that harsh line between that. And man, that's a real nice effect of moon. I really see and feel that moon. Really see and feel the moon. Now we're going to create, see something right there in the middle. I don't know what we got into there. Let me get a clean brush. A little bit of my black paint was right there kind of showing through. Didn't like the way that looked. So we'll just clean that up. Now I'm okay with that. Now we're going to take that flat brush we just had. We're going to clean him up a second. Clean him up. We're going to come in with some black, a little bit of a thin black. I'm going to create a few trees here. We'll create a few nighttime trees. And it's amazing the power of the moon. Some people worship the moon. I don't know if I do that, but here, I got this moon here in the paintbrush, and it's pulling me. It's pulling that tree right up to the moon. I guarantee you, if I had a class of 10 students around here and told them to paint these trees, every one of them, those trees would be pulling right to the moon. So it's funny the power the moon can have, even in a painting. So we'll just get the base of some of these trees started. We're going to come in and create a lot of limbs on here. I just want some tree trunks to start with. Okay, we have some trees started there. Now I'm going to take a long liner brush. This is one of my favorite brushes. Let me get my hands all clean before I start. My favorite brush because you can really create some nice long branches, but you need some thinner. You need a nice thin value of the paint. If the camera can see that, you really get a nice thin value. You really roll that brush around, really load that brush up. And let's start with this tree here. Let's say we have some branches coming off here. Keep loading that tree up, loading that branch up. Let's take him all the way up into the moon there. He's reaching out for that moon. So when I first did this painting at home, looked at it, I could almost hear the wolves howling at night. That's where the wild theme kind of got started. Let's get some more of that nice thin black paint. Let's create another branch up here going right up to the moon. Let's go ahead and top that tree off. We'll create lots of branches here. Lots of branches. Let's say you got to remember branches are thicker at the base than they are at the top, so you got to keep that in mind as you're making branches. Got lots of paint on there, so we'll have something come off the other side. A branch coming off there, a branch, and a branch, and a branch. Lots of branches. That's what gives the feel of this painting when it's all done, is all these branches. What gives it the wild feel. Like I said, this branch, or with this brush, you can make branches all day. Make branches all day, really make them realistic look, make them a nice feel of trees. Let's have something coming off this side, something coming off there. Take him out a little bit more. Have something coming off this side, branch there, get some more of this paint. So this is a simple painting. In essence, there's not a lot of elements to it, but that strong, powerful moonlight is what's going to draw people. When you see this painting, you'll really be drawn to that moon. Really like how that moon turned out. Let's come down here and, got a big blob of paint. Don't want that falling down anything, but keep a nice thin value of paint. Let's take this tree. Still got that blob. That rolled off the tree. It might look like a bird's nest or something, but let's keep that loose. All right, we'll come down this tree. It's all right, let the tree branches cross over each other. That's another thing that'll help give some distance to it, having those branches overlap. Kind of got a little wild with that one. We'll kind of connect those two. Get some more of that paint. You can make that a little thick. We got a little wild there with that one. Keep that in perspective. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Let's connect some of these lines. Really fill that tree trunk in. Let's come down here, get some more of this paint. Now, I hope you don't get bored watching me paint the limbs, but it all works on this painting. Let's have something coming off here, here. Kind of create those limbs. Lots of limbs, lots of limbs. Let's work on this tree a little bit. Like I say, this long liner really holds the paint. You can create limbs all day with this thing. Let's fill up the bottom of that. Let's get the limb coming out here in front of that moon. If you try something like this on your own, it's however you see a tree. And trees, there's a million different kinds of trees. You know, how loose and free you like to make these limbs, it's all up to you. Like I say, you live in the moment. However you see a tree, how you see the limbs. But once again, step back, look at the trees, the dark clouds, the light clouds, medium clouds, all the way up to that bright moon. Just the distances in this painting is what I really, really like. The power of that moon. Stand back, look at him, see where you need trees. I see we need a small one down here. Will it reach up to the moon? Let's see. Sure, we will reach up. That moon's powerful, it pulls us up there. You can't paint a tree in this painting without the moon grabbing a hold of it and pulling it up there. Let's connect that. There's a small tree down here, doesn't have as many limbs on it. So this will be a class painting someday where it'll be fun watching students create all these different limbs. Everybody will have something different, but they'll all be perfect. Although no tree is perfect, all trees are perfect, if that makes any sense. So have some limbs coming out this side. It's okay to have the limbs cross over each other. That says this limb's coming out of the front of the tree a little bit. Got some limbs coming up that way. See how we have them cross right over that tree? Got a little thick there, so we need to make that work. We need to make that branch a little thicker to make sense of that. Get some more of this paint, some more of the thin paint. Let's see, we've got to make something with this tree. This tree might be in front of that tree. So we have some branches that come right in front of that tree. So you can imagine this painting now, you come out and you almost hear the wolves howling. That's where the wild part of this painting first came into play. I was trying to think of what to call it. Like I say, I could almost feel the wild nature, feel feel and hear the wolves, the coyotes howling at the moon. But I just like the way it feels, I like the way it pulled me into. And just something about Stay Wild Moonchild just had a fun, playful kind of sound to it. So that became the name. You kind of look at it and say, if any of the limbs don't make sense, oil paint is very forgiving. You can kind of correct all those. That one's kind of not making sense, so we'll pull something off here. Make that limb a little bit wider there at the bottom. You make that tree trunk. Anytime you get one that's too wild, you can just make it a little thicker at the bottom, and then, like I say, you can make the tree trunk thicker too. You can correct all this stuff. Let's see what we're doing. Let's get a couple more. Once again, I know I'm going pretty fast. Let's see, we'll have something coming off here. Something off there. Really like how that's coming together. Once again, the depth in that is just magical. Really like how that feels. I really like the way this is coming along. Let's get a few more limbs on here. Need something coming on this. That side there. Now, can stop and count the limbs. Somebody emailing, tell me how many limbs I painted today. I've lost track, but not like I was keeping track anyway. But you gotta be careful. You can't go crazy with this. You get the limbs going and pretty soon you've lost the moon because you got so many limbs. But I like how that's turning out, so we're gonna do just a couple more, just finish this guy off. A couple more little limbs up right up there in the moon. And I like how that's going. So let me clean that brush up. Let me get another little liner brush. I'm gonna go with some dark color here. And I'm gonna call that, let's just get some more of the dark down these edges down here. I'm gonna call that a finished painting. So my favorite thing to do in a painting, how about right over here? We're gonna put my JDW. If that shows up, JDW. There, I like that painting. Stay Wild Moonchild. Like I say, it's just fun to say that. Gotta be careful, you can overdo it at the last minute and mess up everything you've ever done. I don't want to do that. So let's take this off here and see what it looks like in a frame. That's what I like to do. Let's take this off of here and loosen that. Pull her off here and let's go get her in a frame. Good? Okay. You know the routine. We like to see this into a finish painting into a frame. Drop that in, pop these little speed clips in here to hold it for a second, and pop this up in an easel so we can show it off. There we go. Stay Wild Moonchild. Really like the depth of the clouds and how that turned out. If you'd like to know more about these kind of paintings, feel free to contact me at jdwayne@therockandrollpainter.com. Thanks.